From laughter to life lessons, the mother-daughter bond is like no other. Hello everyone, I'm Nadia, Azmi, and you're watching Women Talk, and today's episode to me is a very special one because we will be talking about one of the most precious and special connections there are out there, which is the mother and daughter bond. We will explore how the mother-daughter relationship has evolved or changed through time and how mutual respect, trust, and generational influence shape this connection in the most powerful ways. So with that, we have in the studio with us, of course, a mother-daughter duo for this episode on My Daughter, My Best Friend. We have Su Shepin on my left in blue, who is mother to Wen Fei Te, who is next to her on the left. Welcome to Women Talk. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Nadia, for having us.
Yes, yeah. And now we want to know, before we go into the questions and ask more about your relationship, we want to know first how you would describe that mother and daughter bond that you have right now from each of your perspectives. So let's start with Wen Fei.
Thank you, Nadia. I would say that we have a really special, deep, and meaningful relationship, almost telepathic.
Wow.
So we'll unpack that in a bit, but I think it's something that we've grown since I was really young, and we've advanced that from just being mother-daughter to now business partners. Okay. So that has added a lot of depth and maybe complexity, but in a good way.
So it's special, and I mean, you're not just mother and daughter, but you're business partners.
Yes.
So that sometimes changes the dynamics of the whole thing, right? We'll unpack more of that later, yes, as you've mentioned. And what about you, Shepin? How would you describe or illustrate the relationship that you have with your daughter?
Yeah. So Wen Fei is my firstborn, and that makes, that means she made me a mother.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very precious, I would add the word super precious, super fulfilling, and super warm. When I think about her, my heart warms up, and I smile maybe without knowing. So I would say I'm very, very, very lucky to have this very special bond with my daughter.
That's beautiful to hear. So how did that friendship evolve in your connection as mother and daughter? Maybe Wen Fei.
It's quite interesting that you say my daughter is my best friend from my mom's point of view. I mean, we love each other very much and we are a great mother-daughter duo, but maybe I wouldn't say that we are best friends.
Okay.
I think that our bond is really deep, and maybe that actually grew out of the fact that, we are mother-daughter. And I think we want to highlight that, So it's something that we've grown since, I think, forever. I don't actually remember a time we didn't have it.
So it came naturally, Shepin?
Yes. I think, like Wen Fei said, we don't see it as a friendship.
Okay,
yeah, we see it as a very special mother-daughter relationship. But then when you think about it, every mother-daughter relationship is special. It's just that, we are different in different ways. We all have characters. So somehow, two of us have characters that match.
Yeah.
We think about similar things.
Right.
We say the similar things.
That's why the telepathy element comes in.
Yes,
it is true.
Yeah, it is actually true. We can sometimes even think about the same song at the same time.
That really, that's something special over there.
Yeah.
And it's unique. And yes, each relationship is different than the other. We can't compare apple to apple. Yes, people have their own ways on how they interact and how they engage with each other. So how do you think, you don't call it a friendship, but it's a special relationship. What do you think were the factors in your environment that shaped that particular relationship that you have?
I think we have natural respect for each other.
Right.
And the feelings that I know what she thinks, she knows what I think, I know what she wants, and I know what she doesn't want. So I think we allow each other to have that space to grow between us and to embrace that comfort, embrace that respect together. It's so fulfilling for me.
And I understand both of you by profession are lawyers.
Yes.
So probably you think the same, you have the same aspiration in life. Did you mold Wen Fei to become like a mini you, or did it just happen?
I don't think I did. Seriously, I don't think I did. Maybe subconsciously I did, but I don't think I did. Because I think since young, she already has that individualistic, behavior. So she's an introvert and I'm an extrovert. So
you complement each other.
yeah, so we complement.
We are actually very different, but also very similar.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting because we bring a lot of different dynamics into our relationship.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I wouldn't say she molded me, but maybe she inspired me.
Yes.
In that sense, and sort of my sister as well, who went on to study law. So I think we have a great dynamic as a trio, not just us as a duo.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think that has benefited the relationship that you have with each other? Because some mothers and daughters struggle to find that middle ground, to find a compromise. But in your case, you're able to think alike. You have the same visions and all that. How has that benefited the both of you throughout the years?
Oh, wow. It's really good because I think that we don't see it as a problem. I know that some
You still
parents-
argue though, right?
No, we
Wow.
don't. We don't argue, yeah.
Okay.
But
We
we're
have
not the arguing
disagreements,
type.
Right.
but we don't argue.
Right.
I
Yes,
think a
we
lot of
don't.
it is
We don't shout at each
communication.
other. We don't
Yeah.
throw things at each other.
Yes.
We talk about it. And then when we find that we can't agree on something, I think we just give each other space to think about it. And then maybe talk about it later. Really, so it's just as easy as that.
Yeah, in essence, it's a healthy relationship. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's healthy and it works for the both of you. You get to do what you want without having to struggle to find that common ground that you need so often in
I
life.
would even say it's almost perfect.
Okay, now
Yeah.
after the break, we want to know how Wen Fei can be herself, be transparent, and be open and honest to you, her mother. After the break, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Women Talk. You're still with me, Nadia. We're talking about the connection and powerful connection there is between a mother and daughter bond. How have you been able to be that transparent with your mother? Or was that, it took a while to get to that stage?
I think my mom has always created a really safe space for us to say what we think. And sometimes we don't agree.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get over that because we will never always agree on the same thing, although we agree on most things. But we actually learn to listen to each other better and communicate, why I don't agree with you, this is why. And I think that has actually improved since we've actually become business partners because it's
Interesting.
become so important. Because it's not just day-to-day being a mom and daughter anymore. It's
Yeah.
actually become, a business and things that we have to do every single day.
But
Yeah.
before you became business partners, I want to rewind a little bit back to your teenage years. I think for a lot of us, that's when we're the most rebellious, and that's the toughest times to listen to our parents, especially our mothers. So, were you a disciplinarian back then, Shopin? And was it a challenge to get her to be on the same page as you? Not to go out when you're not supposed to come back according to your curfew. How was it?
Well, my answer is going to surprise you because I think I didn't have any problems with my two
It
girls.
was all peachy.
Yeah, it's like, and also they were studying Wen Fei was studying in UK at that time, being a teenager. And I always hear from my friends that they would call the child every day. And I'm like, oh, really? I don't. And then she would actually check on me. She would actually say, where are you
so
going?
quiet?
Why are you so quiet? So actually, she checked on me more than I checked on her. Because I think I myself grew up from a rather rigid family, kind of like, very
strict
conservative. I would
Yeah.
say conservative upbringing. I was in a Chinese school and all that, a lot of, and being a Chinese school girl, Chinese girl, a lot of things you cannot do,
Yeah.
cannot go out or
Yes.
cannot say. So I want my daughters to be free. to express themselves, go out, have fun. You know?
So from your very conservative upbringing, Shapin, you did not take everything and extract everything and emulate that in your journey as a mother for Wen Fei. So it was a conscious decision on your end.
It's a conscious decision, but also I feel it's natural as well, because I think the world changes really. You know, it's not the same as previously. Young people are not the same as my time of young people.
Yeah.
So I think in a way I allowed that changes. I allowed that behavior, and somehow, you know, she didn't.
We didn't go crazy.
She didn't go crazy.
Yeah.
I feel sometimes that I wish she could be even more, you know, crazy, like some of the friends. But that's what she is. You know, it's no point saying that, oh, why don't you go out and, you know, every Saturday night. So I just let her do what she was comfortable.
So you gave her that freedom, you gave her that space. I know we have a lot of terms in motherhood. There are the helicopter moms, for example, the moms who are just smothering the children and they want to know every single bit and detail of their children's lives, but no, not you. You, for example, you mentioned you didn't call her every day when you were in the UK. How did you feel about that, Wen Fei?
I felt she trusted me, so that's really important.
Okay.
Because I feel that if you constantly want to control maybe your child, it may not always work out the way you want it.
Yeah, yeah. So you're overseas, you have that trust, you have that freedom.
Yes.
You never abused it. I think a lot of people will be tempted to, hey, my mom is not here and she's not checking up on me as often as, you know, she should, or as my other friends, mothers. Maybe, you know, let's have a little fun and do something that may not be, you know, that may defy her.
I don't think I can really think of something. Maybe we stayed out longer than we were supposed to sometimes, but no, she's actually the cool, fun mom that all my friends really looked up to. So no, I can't really think of any.
So your conservative upbringing, I want to go back to that. How would you give us an illustration? How was it growing up in your household? Did you rebel? Is that why, you know, when you are bringing up Wen Fei, you didn't want to repeat maybe some of the mistakes or missteps that were done in the past, and you didn't want that to repeat itself, for the cycle to continue?
Yeah. I wouldn't call that as mistakes, you know. I think culturally we all grow up as Asian kids, you know. Asians are more respectful, perhaps, than some culture, because we are, you know, we are born that way, we are groomed that way. So, and also being in a Chinese school, the behavior was a lot more controlled. So I felt that I didn't have to be rebellious at all. I was just quietly growing up as a good, well-behaving girl. But a part of me also realized that I needed to break free from this control. So I felt that being a lawyer allowed me to break free from that control.
The awareness was there, especially you know, in your profession as being a lawyer, you meet with clients who are in different situations, in family situations, that you probably learned from, you know.
And also I learned how to talk to people, because I know what it is like to be in a conservative approach. Then I also know, I also have seen, you know, the more open-minded approach in the West when I was studying there. So I felt it was a very good combination of that. But there were times when I would disagree with perhaps how some men would talk to women, for example. I would just observe first rather than say anything, and I would try to say something to show my thinking and feeling. You know, I think ultimately for our culture, whoever you're talking to, the degree of respect is so important. Whether men or women, you know, younger or older. So I think, you know, I'm very lucky to have that respect.
Indeed, both of you are very lucky to have that mutual respect and to also be able to sustain it. You know, even until being business partners, we want to know if there were any tough situations that you can share with us. You know, especially going into business together, you have to be professionals, and so there's maybe a clash of interests or personalities. So we want to know more about that. Save your stories, because we're going to go for a quick break. Don't go away. welcome back to Women Talk. Today in this episode, we are talking about the powerful connection between a mother and a daughter. And in the studio, we have just that, a powerful duo who are both lawyers turned business partners. We have Shupin and also Wen Fei. Shupin as the mother and also Wen Fei as the daughter. Your firstborn, right?
Yes.
We are women. We can get emotional. We have our own opinions on things. So what do you do when, there could be a bit of a disagreement? And you're the older one, yes, as the mother. Sometimes we have that that thinking or that mentality where I'm the mother, I'm the older one, I'm the senior one, you have to listen to me. Did you always put yourself in that kind of position?
No, I don't. Yeah, actually, sometimes I quietly listen to her without, challenging her. But I would say that, but we can think about this other ways as well. The point is that Wen Fei started traveling with me for my business trip from the age of 15, 16 when she was in the college in UK. So I think those years of spending time together and learning the rope quietly.
Maybe the seed was planted.
Yes.
You give that exposure to her early on.
Yes,
right?
yes. I mean, to me, I just wanted her to be with me.
Yeah.
But I think maybe quietly there's, interest in working together, understanding how I work, how I talk to people. So that's why it's never really, it's never a problem.
So when you never felt pressured to be just like your mother or to follow her path, to follow her mold, never felt pressured, not even one bit?
I wouldn't say I felt pressured.
Yeah.
I think we are both bossy boss in a different way.
Okay.
I think maybe one part that I had to sort of learn was because my mom is very extroverted and I'm very introverted. And maybe at the beginning she didn't understand why I reacted in a certain way. But with us working together for a few years, we actually began to understand why each other reacts in a certain way. We actually found a really great balance.
Okay.
But it took time.
Yeah,
And
in getting that balance, you must have encountered certain tough situations where, you had to maybe take some time apart or, not talk to each other for a while. Can you share with us a particular experience where something like that had happened?
Yeah, but I think it's natural to disagree.
Right.
But we don't like the idea of quarreling. So we are not the quarreling type. So I think disagreeing is healthy. You can disagree because we are from different generation. We are 30 years apart, So we accept that. So we will talk about it. But if it's a situation where we both cannot agree, certain times I would have to say that based on my experience, we got to do this.
Right. Let's go more into that generational gap or difference. So you're a baby boomer, right, and you are a millennial.
Yeah.
How have you factored all that into raising Wen Fei? I mean, even until now, she's an adult already, but I'm sure you instill values in her up till today. You give her advice and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, being a mother, it's only natural that you have this instinctive desire to give advice. But I've learned to, really say in such a way that it is not imposing. But, if I believe something strongly, I will tell her, I really don't think it is so, or I really think you should do this or say this. And I think somehow Wen Fei also would have respond to me that way if she finds me saying something like, oh, you shouldn't say that, so why would you say that, something like that. But to me, it's good. It's good to be able to be open and talk about things. So then talking about the generational differences, I feel very lucky actually because I'm 61, but I get to enjoy all that, the young world.
The perks of today's day and age.
Yes. I make friends on Instagram. I make friends on Facebook.
So you get into the program, you get updated, you want to know what your daughter is up to and all that.
Yeah.
But yet, I'm sure there are some women watching us, they want to ask you, Shupin, how do we do this? It's not as easy as it sounds, as it looks on paper. What advice would you have to give all these mothers or mothers to be? How to keep up with the trends at the same time? you want to be relevant to your daughter, right? But at the same time, you have the sacred values that you want her to inherit as well.
Yes.
How do we strike that balance? What's your advice?
I never think of balancing. I always think that everything you do in life, there is always a priorities. The priorities that you want to do for yourself, for your family, for your work. So that role of trying to strike a balance is not really necessary if you have that instinct to prioritize.
Okay.
Yeah, so you prioritize and you do your best for everything, including your daughters, your children, your family.
Yeah.
I don't think a woman is expected or should be expected to be so perfect.
Yeah,
You know,
I second
right?
that.
Yeah. So I think too much of pressure on women to look good, to be good, to say the right thing, and to look the best, and to be in a slim self, wearing the right dress, having the right hair, having a good skin at whatever age. I think that's just too much on women. I also do think sometimes mothers worry too much
Right.
about their kids. I think that you should also understand they have the natural instinct to grow.
Yeah.
They can make mistakes. We too, as parents, can make mistakes. So I feel shouldn't worry too much, but actually enjoy the relationship. Let it, kind of
Let it
grow.
flourish.
Let it
Yes,
flourish.
that's
Let
right.
it bloom. And accept imperfection of yourself as well as your children.
Yeah.
Because we're all human beings. And I think this age of social media
Yeah.
has driven all relationship in a very different,
Yes.
dimension.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we actually share what we find out on social media, and they would send me some funny stories. I would send them some funny stories, and we actually find fun. And it's like the next morning we would say, "Did you see what I sent to you last night?"
You want to connect. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, lastly, very briefly, how would you, or what's your tips and advice to daughters who are watching, who may be, having a little bit of a difficulty reaching that same level as you are with your mother in terms of having that great and awesome relationship?
Yeah. I would say listen to each other, not just for daughters, I think for mothers as well. And try your best not to get angry so quickly. I think a lot of us kind of accept all the negative emotions very quickly. And I think keeping them at bay while you listen to each other is really important.
Yeah.
And then then you're able to analyze each other better,
Right.
I would say.
I think there's one thing that we need to understand, which is there's no playbook, there's no
Yeah.
manual on how to become a mother or a daughter, but you learn as you grow with each other throughout the years, and it's something that will happen naturally in time, in the right time and place. Thank you very much to Shupin and also Wenfei for sharing your
Thank you.
experiences and your insights. I'm sure a lot of mothers and daughters out there are feeling inspired and want
Thank
to
you
achieve.
for this special
This special bond that you
session,
both
yes.
have, and to many more years of this special bond, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Now, to our audience, I think we can sum it up by saying that each generation has a unique offerings in terms of a mother and daughter duo. So let's cherish and embrace what we have and be the best mother and daughter that we can ever be. So don't forget to also give us some love on social media. Find us at Women Talk TV3 or TV3 Malaysia. And with that, we'll see you next week with another amazing topic. See you.